Welcome to English Storytime Adventures. In today's video, we're going to listen to an exciting short story that will help you improve your English skills. Listen carefully and follow along with the subtitles. Before we begin, here are some key words you'll hear in the story. Pay attention to their meaning and try to use them in your own sentences later.
Refer to mention or direct attention to something. Interview. A formal meeting in which someone asks you questions to find out about something. Extent. The area covered by something or the degree to which something happens. Evacuate. To move out of a dangerous place to safety.
Now that you're familiar with these words, let's begin the story.
David worked as a local weather forecaster. He enjoyed the calm, predictable nature of his job. Most days he gave weather updates to people in his city, a small town where nothing much changed. Yet David often wondered how much his work truly mattered. Did anyone really listen? Did his forecasts impact their lives? Or was it all just background noise to their busy routines? One Wednesday afternoon, David was preparing for his usual broadcast. The weather that day was simple, sunny with a slight breeze. But as he sat down in front of the camera, something caught his eye on the radar. A large, swirling cloud mass was moving towards the coast. Something unusual. He looked again, adjusting the data, and realized that this was no ordinary storm. It was a massive tropical cyclone heading straight for the town. David's mind raced. Could this be a mistake? To what extent should he trust the radar? He checked it again, double and triple checking the data. No, there was no doubt. This was real. He immediately called his boss, Carol, to alert her about the situation. The town needed to be warned. Carol wasn't convinced at first. "Are you sure, David? There hasn't been any major storm warning from the central station." "I'm sure," David replied firmly. "The data doesn't lie. We need to take action. We need to evacuate the low-lying areas before it's too late." After a long interview with Carol and the other senior members of the news station, they finally agreed to let David go live with the warning. David took a deep breath and faced the camera, knowing this broadcast would be different from any other he'd done. He wasn't just reporting the weather, he was trying to save lives. As he began the report, he made sure to refer to the storm's size and speed, urging people to take it seriously. "This is not an ordinary storm," he said with urgency in his voice. "To the best of our knowledge, the storm will hit within the next 12 hours. If you live near the coast, I strongly recommend you evacuate immediately. Please take this seriously. The extent of the damage could be severe." David felt a heavy responsibility. Every word he spoke felt like it could make a difference. But even as he gave the warning, he saw the same familiar faces on the other side of the camera. The news crew, the producers, all going about their business as usual. Did they really understand the gravity of the situation? Hours passed, and the storm grew closer. David stayed in the station, updating viewers and giving them the latest forecasts. Outside, the streets were still busy with people. He started to doubt whether anyone had listened to him at all. Then, just before nightfall, David received a message from a local family who had seen his broadcast. They had decided to evacuate, and now, as they drove inland, they sent their thanks for his warning. "We weren't sure if we should leave, but your broadcast convinced us. We're safe now." The message gave David a sense of relief. Maybe, just maybe, his forecast had made a difference after all. Later that night, the storm hit. It was as bad as the radar had shown. Torrential rain, strong winds, and flooding covered the town. But because of David's early warning, many people had been able to leave the most dangerous areas. The next morning, as the sun rose, David stood by the window of the news station. The streets were empty, and the damage was extensive. Yet he felt a strange sense of peace. His job wasn't just about predicting the weather anymore. It was about the people who listened, the lives he might have saved, and the realization that his work mattered more than he ever knew.
Great job following along with the story. Now, let's review the key words we learned today.
Refer to mention or direct attention to something. Example from the story. He made sure to refer to the storm's size and speed, urging people to take it seriously. Interview. A formal meeting in which someone asks you questions to find out about something. Example from the story. After a long interview with Carol and the other senior members of the news station, they finally agreed to let David go live with the warning. Extent: the area covered by something or the degree to which something happens. Example from the story. To what extent should he trust the radar? Evacuate: to move out of a dangerous place to safety. Example from the story. If you live near the coast, I strongly recommend you evacuate immediately.
Now, let's check your understanding of the story. See if you can answer these questions.
Question 1. In the story, David hesitated when he first saw the storm on the radar. Can you think of another word that could describe his feelings at that moment? Question 2. What do you think would have happened if David hadn't trusted the radar? Would the town be safe?
Feel free to pause the video and write down your answers in the comments. Great work today. Well done. You've just completed another story with English Storytime Adventures. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more fun and educational stories. And don't forget to leave a comment with your thoughts or answers to the questions. I'd love to see how much you've learned. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next episode of English Storytime Adventures. Until then, happy learning.